It's a sensitive time in Hong Kong, and being seen at a protest could cost you your job. The focus of this small rally was Cathay Pacific. The airline is the most high-profile case of what these people believe is increasing interference by China in Hong Kong workplaces.
Hong Kong workers is now facing threats from the China government and Hong Kong government that they cannot even express their point of view in their own social media platform.
Several Cathay Pacific employees have been fired for making social media posts in support of the anti-government protests or for attending rallies.
Cathay Pacific is a publicly listed company, but one of its major shareholders is Air China, which is owned by the Chinese government.
Some staff have resigned from the company in protest, like politician and pilot Jeremy Tam.
This kind of, interference from the Beijing government, it just changed it completely. And everybody fear of, being put under the spotlight.
It's not just Cathay Pacific that's coming under pressure from Beijing. There's a wider atmosphere creeping into the Hong Kong corporate world that if you want to continue doing business with China, then you should distance yourself and your staff from the protests. Last week it was the turn of accountants to take to the streets to reject interference from Beijing. Staff from major firms like KPMG and Deloitte had earlier taken out a newspaper ad criticising their companies for ignoring Hong Kong people and the reasons for the protests. After pressure from Beijing, the companies released statements distancing themselves from the ad. Cathay Pacific declined Al Jazeera's request for an interview, but the reason given for the action against staff is security. Chinese aviation authorities say they won't allow Cathay flights to enter their airspace if they are operated by anyone who has participated in or supported protests.
The fact that Cathay's aircraft do need to fly into China's airspace, then China's entitled to ask them to live by their rules. As far as we are concerned, we totally support the freedom of opinion.
Freedom of opinion continues to be expressed on the streets, but in the workplace it's becoming increasingly difficult. Wayne Hay, Al Jazeera, Hong Kong.